My dad's generation believed that if you were going to do something, you need to do it right. Somehow, in our generation and beyond, it became, I think that's good enough. This is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute tour, day 4 of Matot, Masei, Tribes and Journeys. Let's go to Numbers, Bamidbar, chapter 32. The beginning of the chapter says, And the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had much livestock, a great number. And they saw the large land of Yazer and the land of Gilad, and saw that that place was a place for livestock. So the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke to Moshe and to Eleazar the priest and to the leaders of the congregation, saying, Adaroth and Devan and Yazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Elah and Sabam and Nebo and Beon, the land which Yahweh has stricken before the congregation of Israel, is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock. And they said, If we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants as a possession, and do not let us pass over the Jordan. And Moshe said to the children of Gad and children of Reuben, Are your brothers going to go into battle while you yourselves sit here? I can imagine the outrage of Moshe. I have fought tooth and nail against people, against demons, and against adversaries to get you to the place of going in and possessing your land of your inheritance, and you're wanting to stop short on the wrong side of this river and claim a land that is not originally intended for you. We look around, we surmise our surroundings, we look at our opportunities, and we try to make the best choices that are available for us. We think about things in terms of increase and fruitfulness and how much money can I make and what is the best, most comfortable, most agreeable environment and situation for my living. Nothing wrong with that in most respects, at least not while we are here in exile. We make the best of the situation that we have. So in our pastoral journeys, my wife Laura and I and our family, our children, we moved from one end of the state of Virginia to the other, and we have served in some form of ministry in all the corners. And some places were more agreeable to us than others. Some places we enjoyed, some places we endured. But Yah helped us wherever we were. We just made the best of whatever situation that we happened to be in. In the course of building our home here, we were renting a particular home. It wasn't ideal, but it was good. It was favorable, and we enjoyed being there. In between that house and the home that we now occupy, there was a stopover in a duplex. It was small. It was inconvenient. We had to put a lot of stuff in storage, but thankfully it was short-term. What are we doing? Well, we made the best choice available to us based on our circumstances. So why do we look here at Reuben and Gad and offer criticism to them about stopping short? After all, it says they had a lot of livestock, and the land that they were viewing was very favorable for livestock. What's the problem? Well, it was twofold at least. And Moshe points out the first one that is most obvious. So you're just going to stay here and set up housekeeping and livestocking here in this lush land and let your brothers go on and deal with whatever they may face without your assistance. So we're going to take less than 100% of the army into combat. What if we need you? Now, they do come back and say, look, we will set up temporary shelters and pens for our families and our livestock, and then we'll go first into battle and bring our brothers into their inheritance first and then come back. Now, that was going to present some problems. It was admirable that they did that and right that they did that. However, what they were doing was leaving families behind to care for the livestock. And there was an extended absence then of husbands and fathers, leaving families to fend for themselves until they could come back. And how many of them did not come back? The idea that the army of Israel went in and conquered the land without a single loss of life, well, that's just not reasonably thought of, especially in the time of hand-to-hand combat. Certainly there would have been men who lost their lives to bring their brothers into their inheritance. Did that breed resentment in some of the family that was passed on to sons and daughters for future generations? The second thing is they stopped short. Whatever value they saw in the land on the east side of the Jordan, that had to be less desirable or less favorable to them than what Yah had intended originally for them inside the boundaries. Even more, it pushed them into another 2 points I want to make. One, it made them further from the location of the tabernacle and eventually the temple. It took them longer then to get there than would have been had they been inside the proper boundaries. And you would think, well, that's just logistic, Barry. That really doesn't matter. Time travel, okay, so what? It is in the mind. There is a river to cross to get over to the tabernacle. It is a physical barrier that has a physical reality, spiritual reality, where we look at it and say, it's just too inconvenient. And even if you take on the inconvenience and you cross over in your mind, when you get to your location and your intended destination, in the back of your mind is what all I had to go through just to get here. That's a problem. And then the another aspect of it is they were likewise physically distant and dislocated from their brothers. It would have been a very easy mindset for they, and then the portion of Manasseh that was added to them on that side, to have a us and them mindset. So we come down to a resolve that we might want to focus on. And that is the choices that we make are not just about we ourselves. Yes, you want to take advantage of good opportunities. You find a good piece of land to build on. You find a good congregation to be a part of. You find a good job that seems to benefit you and your family. These are things that we consider, and we consider in the context of how does it affect us? Another question to ask is, how does this affect the body of Messiah? How much are we willing to be inconvenienced or choose less than ideal for ourselves if it benefits the body of Messiah and our gifting, our calling, our fruit bearing enhances what Yah is doing in a particular location? I heard a pastor decades ago, many decades ago, make a statement that I've kept in the back of my mind. Now, there's a long list of things this particular individual has taught that I completely disagree with. This is something other, though, that I caught. And they were saying, again, this is many decades ago, when you are looking for employment, typically we find a job and then we try to find a location and a congregation to be a part of. The kingdom's mind is different. We find the congregation and the purposes of Yah first, and then we look for a job to support us while we're there, taking care of what is kingdom first. Yeshua said, seek you first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and then all this other stuff, it'll be added to you. Matthew 6:33. think on this, and we'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully. Until then, shalom.